Всем привет! Решил сегодня попробовать поиграть в такую игрушку, как Sall of Juarez про дикий запад. Сначала думаю настроить звук. Пришлось какое-то время повозиться с OBS, потому что он прям не хотел захватывать экран игры, и пришлось делать все это через окно и так далее. В игру не играл, видосники по ней не смотрел, поэтому будет самому интересно, как, что и почему. Я только начал, поэтому да.
I threw in with the kid because the man I had sworn vengeance on was riding with Billy's enemies. But before I tell you why I want that sumbitch dead, let me tell you what happened that day. I was heading back to the hideout when suddenly I had this funny feeling.
Funny, haha?
No, Steve. The other kind of funny.
Так, как понимаю, вот эти черные полосы вокруг экрана будут постоянно. Так, ну что такое, да? Пока не понял такого. Ага. Вернитесь в убежище. Так, где наш? Угу. Так, он подсказывает. Сюда.
You heard that. You need to stay here and keep an eye on the road. That's not fair. We're missing all the fun.
I knew those two morons would never let me through. I had no choice.
Who's that? Is he with us?
Was it Pat Garrett's posse? Oh yeah. I heard the shots and I knew I had to move fast. Garrett and his army of deputies had surrounded the entire homestead.
Могу на лошадь сесть. Ну, лошадь не могу сесть. Что ж поделать? Ну, понравилось.
I decided to help Billy and the boys out a bit. So that's just what I did.
Концентрация. Slow motion.
Hey, we have one behind us. Stay on it. Cover fire.
As the governor of New Mexico was paying for the kid's apprehension, Garrett was able to hire every gun hand in Lincoln County.
Все? Нет. Все, откачу. Где ты высыл? Гляну, Иванович.
I knew that going through that front door meant putting my butt in a shooting gallery, so I decided to get sneaky.
Сам не буду считать, потому что я за ним, по-моему, сам не смог. Можно как-то настроить скорость. Записки надо еще потише эффектов музыки надо потише сделать. мне кажется. Так, указательно оставил, чтобы понятно было точно куда идти. Это что такое? Не знаю. Какой-то плюшка нашел. Не знаю, что это, карта какая-то. Оп, левел ап. Теперь у вас есть одно очко навыка. Давай сюда идем. Что-то есть. Стрелок, отчаянный герой с двумя стволами, боец ближнего боя и стрелок на больших расстояниях. Блин, все интересно, но я, наверное, хочу чисто с двух рук накидывать. Может и нет. Правило: в каждой руке возьмите 2 револьвера и устройте им ад. Имея сам револьвер, нажмите по кнопке вверх или трешь взять в каждой руке. Оп. Все, нормально.
Garrett's men were running around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. Still, one of them reached the water tower.
What?
Not a bad idea. It would be a turkey shoot from up there.
Чисто матрица.
Luckily, these shooters Garrett hired weren't the sharpest tools in the shed. The right position is very important. Personally, I prefer to be on top.
Oh, you do you?
Indeed, darling. But where was I?
Что это лучше?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd he come from? God damn you!
A lot of them were saddle tramps or sod busters or drunken drifters looking to make a few bucks.
Непонятно, как ставить лучше.
Then, I heard a friendly voice yelling at me from the window. Back door! We'll cover you!
Start aiming, you idiots!
Truth be told, things weren't much better behind the house. I cut their numbers in half, but that just made the ones that were left twice as mad. They made up for their lack of skill with a seemingly endless supply of ammo.
Лучше, что ли,
It was a bit of a
это?
slog, but I finally fought my way around the back of the house.
Так, забавненько. Здесь какие-то статуи пушек.
And like that, I was inside, none the worse for wear.
А это тьма, это
I passed Dirty Dave,
прочее.
Deader than a rat in a
Да,
trap!
это не нужно.
and upstairs I found Billy and Charlie Baldry.
Billy Kid.
Billy looked at me and said, "About time, amigo. Grab a gun
Ну
and
что,
get
они
to the
ружья
window."
дадут.
Wait, so you were friends with Billy the Kid?
Yeah, sort of. Anyway, we were surrounded by dozens of deputized shooters who wanted to do us harm.
Ну, пободрее, что-то.
I'm telling you, Garrett's men were dropping like flies, but they just kept on coming.
interrupting all the action. Get out here, you coward!
Вот.
That's when
Nice.
Charlie got hit. They're catching us in a crossfire, shouted Billy. Get to the other side.
Я на самом деле.
Suckers I personally put down, but it was pretty clear, even to Billy, that maybe discretion was the better part of valor.
What's that mean?
It means that it was time to cut and run. They got a Gatlin, Billy shouted. Get the horses and bring them round back. I'll draw their attention. He directed that order at me, and I thought, why the hell do I have to do it? But I went anyway. Dumbass that I was back then.
Короче, надо за лошадями.
Many would have fled in my place. But I had that false sense of invincibility that many young men have. Like Jack here.
What are you saying, old man?
Jack, he's just joshing with you now.
Yeah, he better be.
Mr. Graves, please continue.
О, что игра полета
Please, call me
поигралась.
Silas, ma'am.
Что?
Now, where was I?
You were heading for the barn.
Gonna cut you a new one.
Мало еще один.
Making my way past the castle of fallen
А,
foes.
еще какая-то билка. А. Ты что, в этой карте так вот все?
Sounds like Garrett hired a whole regiment of hired guns.
Yeah, and just when I thought I was done with them, more of these hapless bastards would pop up.
Изи.
Finally, I had the stables within my reach.
Вон, level up. Тут интересно. Я думаю, это можно сделать. Slow motion.
And that's when I met Sheriff Pat Garrett.
I read that you went toe-to-toe with him, sir. That backstabbing bastard with that tacked-on tin star.
Pat Garrett.
You challenged him to a showdown.
О, дуэль
You
еще
read
будет.
that in a dime novel?
It said he showed no fear as he took your measure with eyes like a rattlesnake.
Ну давай. Ну давай, еще, если же, давай.
Man, you killed him in a fair fight.
Is that what that Penny Dreadful said? No, boy. That ain't what I meant when I said I met Pat Garrett. So let me start again. I finally reached those damn stables.
Wow.
Stepped inside, and
И меня
last
вырубили.
thing I heard was Garrett's voice. That's not Billy.
Nice.
And go on, how did it end?
And, boy, that was just the beginning.
Точно 69%. Ну, такое, могло быть и лучше. Ну, в принципе, любимая награда в голову, то есть в основном хеды, типа 70% точности, это уже, наверное, неплохо. Наверное. Фокус 72%, скорость 52%, потом свидетельство подлинности. Какие-то свидетельства не нашли, что там. Погнали на высоком. Страдать так страдать полностью, че?
So what happened? Did Garrett arrest you?
Yeah, after I came to, the bastard had clocked me with his Colt.
And the kid surrendered?
When he realized there was no getting out of there alive,
So they locked you up in Lincoln?
indeed they did. Sentenced me to hang right along with the kid.
Так, интересно.
It's important to know that I was only riding with Billy so I could find the bastard I was after.
Ну в тюрьме, знаешь? Начальник.
He was with John Kinney's gang, and they were sworn enemies of Billy's regulators.
Why were you after him?
I owed that son of a bitch a bullet for what he had done to me and mine. Instead, all I got for myself was a goddamn death sentence. Luckily, it was right around then that I heard Billy make his move. He shot Jim Bell and a few other guards as he made his getaway. Later, they wrote that some lady friend planted a pistol for him in the privy. What the papers didn't say is that Billy helped me escape, too.
Нормально.
My first order of business was finding a firearm.
Так, нужен ствол, реально. Хорош. Умничка. Умничка.
Luckily, I located Deputy Bob Ollinger's mean-ass shotgun.
Короче, меня знакомят с разными видами вооружения. Давали сначала пистолет, потом дали, получается, винтовку, теперь мне дали двухстволку. Типа дробовики, винтовки, пистолет.
I saw Billy through the window, and he yelled that I should take to the rooftops to make my escape. So I did.
Anybody see Billy? That son of a bitch shot Jim Bell!
Hell yeah. That scatter gun was like a double-barreled howitzer. It could blow a man clear off his feet.
Что-то можно было сделать?
You hardly had to aim the damn thing. The kids escaped raised a huge ruckus.
Ладно, понимаешь.
Put down your weapon!
Тут пистолет появился.
You can't hide forever!
Level up. Что тут? Подсказки. Возьмем подсказки, потом мы возьмем броню. Что-то давай на самом деле.
Guards were everywhere looking for him.
You can't let the kid get away. Anybody see him?
Что творит?
Yeah, you know you can't.
I had to jump from roof to roof like a damn alley cat. I followed the planks where I could, but some of that wood was slippery as hell. The whole town was up in arms. Suddenly, I was a fugitive.
How the hell did the kid can't believe he missed? Kick our ass! Gotta be around here. Billy broke out of jail.
Is not the answer.
Патронов, по-моему, не хватит сходить. Так что нужно забыть.
So that bastard you were after, what did he do?
He did me and my family a grievous harm. But I knew if I was ever going to find him, I would need to get my ever-loving ass out of there. I tried to be stealthy and sneak my way past.
This town doesn't have a moment's peace.
You! But hell, if they weren't all waiting for me. Apparently, some of them thought I was Billy.
You hooligans can go to hell.
Leave him to me. He's in town somewhere.
See, me and the kid shared a certain similarity in build and coloring. I was just glad I had Deputy Bob's mean-ass shotgun.
Кожа косой, боже.
We're gonna be in deep shit when Pat gets back. You won't get away with this. Surrender yourself! Get out here! Oh, they're shooting in the street! I'll flank you! Get your headstone!
There's children here.
We can take them!
So much lead was whizzing by my head, it was like everyone in Lincoln wanted to put me in the ground. I knew I needed to find a horse. Though I never did have a great fondness for those four-legged grass eaters. Smelly, sweaty, ungrateful beasts. We prize them too high, if you ask me. Let's do this!
You won't get away!
Нормально. Так, молодец. Зачем сюда залез?
But where was the kid while you were busy getting shot at?
Gone.
Так,
And that's when it occurred to me why Billy set me free.
Че? Место тут покомфортнее расстояние.
That son of a bitch.
Ой.
So I could be a hapless decoy and draw attention while he snuck out of town. I knew if I made it out of there in one piece, no one would put a price on my head.
Там нормально, да?
Because everybody in Lincoln would be dead?
No, because they all thought I was Billy. And all that blame would fall on him.
Реально считывался.
Meanwhile, Deputy Bob Ollinger was organizing a posse to put me down. He was already a mean son of a bitch, but he was doubly pissed that I stole his mean-ass shotgun. Anyway, it was me or them, and the only way forward led me straight to perdition. But the cards were dealt, and I had no choice but to play them.
Get the women off the street. On yourself. How the hell did he get away? Don't let him get away. Surrender yourself.
Что такое? Ничка какая есть. Ничка. Все, это зачем я пошел?
We're gonna be in deep shit when Pat gets back. Damn you!
Finally, I found what I was looking for. The stables on the edge of town.
I guess Billy saved your ass, taking out Bob Ollinger the way he did.
Billy didn't kill Bob.
Sure he did. He dispatched him right after he shot Deputy Bell.
No, sir. Because Bob came right up behind me, angry as hell that Billy had lit out. Hello, Bob, I said. I think you better let me go. And he says, I don't think so, boy. Not with my shotgun. So we stood there in the middle of the street, eyeball to eyeball. He intended to kill me, and I knew I had no choice but to defend myself.
Найс. Я так и думал. GG. Что это? Реально его просто раньше заставили все. Не понимаю.
I killed him in a fair fight. Everybody saw I had no damn choice. Well, Lincoln got a mite depopulated that day. That Garrett gunned down Billy 3 months later, so his escape was all for naught anyway.
Все-таки веночки не нашли. Веночки я не нашел.
So where'd you go after Lincoln?
Mexico. Until I realized nobody was looking for me. I ended up taking a job at the Rurales.
The Mexican Rurales?
I was hired to help them track down the cowboys.
The most vicious outlaw gang in Cochise County? Curly Bill Brocious? Johnny Ringo?
Led by old man Clanton himself.
They must have paid you a pretty penny to take them hombres on.
Not really. But truth be told, I had my own reasons for going after those boys.
Пуля для старика.
So was the bastard you were after now riding with the cowboys?
Roscoe Bob Bryant was his name.
Oh.
But no, this time it was a different bastard I was after. The aforementioned Mr. Ringo. And yes, he was working for old man Clanton. I came upon them robbing a stagecoach, which wasn't surprising, being they were such murderous thieves and bastards. The bandits wore red scarves, so I knew they worked for the old man.
Over there! There!
I did my best to help those poor passengers.
You won't get away with this!
Moments later, the attackers were dead. And I checked the stagecoach to see how many passengers were still breathing. None. It was then I wondered if the rocks weren't hiding more bandits. Was that all of them? Or did I just hit the rear guard? I quickly got my answer. They attacked from on high like Apaches often did. They would appear in great numbers from above and rain down lead on their hapless enemies' heads, making use of the high ground, whatever else they had. Yep, the Apaches always appeared out of nowhere, and there never seemed to be an end to them.
Hold on. Were you attacked by Apaches? What happened to the cowboys?
Did I say they were Apaches? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style. I was in a pitched battle, but I was holding my own against an overwhelming enemy force. See, at the time, I was still pretty green and would often blunder into regrettable situations. But I just kept shooting at anything I could see up in those damn rocks. I didn't see Ringo, but I knew he was with the cowboys. He and Roscoe Bob had done me a dreadful wrong, and I was determined to have my revenge. But to get to Ringo, I knew I'd have to find my way past these other assholes first. Unfortunately, I was running out of ammo. Another perfect example of my relative inexperience as a hunter of men. I immediately knew that a tactical retreat was called for, as my vengeful fury was much less impressive without the bullets to back it up.
Where's he going?
Finally, they managed to corner me. Trapped as I was, the odds of my survival seemed pretty slim.
Найс. Все-таки меня расстреляли. Что-то их прям много.
Luckily, serendipity was on my side as I suddenly spotted a way out of my predicament.
Stand and fight, you coward!
I ran ahead as if the devil himself was after me. Bullets were whizzing by my ears, but I wasn't about to roll over and die. I just kept running like there was no tomorrow. Because there wouldn't be if Clanton and his men caught up with me. As I was scurrying around those caves, I thought, what was I thinking? Going up against a gang like this? I just kept running, not knowing where the hell I was going. And that's when something miraculous happened. Like manna from heaven, I found the desiccated remains of what looked like an Apache warrior. The old weapon next to him supplied me with some much-needed ammunition. Matt Masterson once told me it was more important to be lucky than good, and he would know. And imagine my surprise when I found a fistful of dynamite to go along with that ammo.
Нормально.
That stroke of good fortune evened the odds and bolstered my confidence. It was time to turn the tables. Time for the prey to become the predator. Time for the hunted to become the hunter. Time.
All right, Jesus, we get it. They were right where you wanted them.
That's right, Jack. I was done running. And the old man's boys were not expecting that. No, sir. I came at them like a wildcat. My fury knew no bounds. It was finally time for that old man to pay for his sins.
Самосбродный, вздорный, чертовски подлый старик Клентон.
I yelled out at the top of my lungs, "Clanton, I'm coming for you!"
Беру.
A little stealth might have made more sense, to be perfectly honest. Because that old fool had a Gatling gun and enough bullets to last him till kingdom come. But I knew I could not let that deter me.
Добежали. Добежала, мама.
But I knew I could not let that deter me. Not if I was to find and kill Ringo. I needed to get that old man off that gun. Most everyone thought it was the Ruales who had come up against him in Guadalupe Canyon, but it was just me.
You one stupid son of a bitch! Dynamite! Damn contraption, damned again! I don't know how you lived this long. Stop your hiding from me! Damn! We're losing too much.
Apparently, one of the cowboys made it out of there alive and told Ike and Billy Clanton that it wasn't a Mexican who took their father's life that day. They just assumed it was one of the Earps, and that little misunderstanding eventually led to that legendary gunfight at the OK Corral.
Перестрелка у лесопилки.
A few weeks after that dust-up at the OK Corral, I was still after Johnny Ringo.
А, типа надо вот, ну... Дробовик прям вообще не мое. Дополнительно сколько хотел.
I had tracked him and the cowboys to their hideout at a sawmill, and they were loaded for bear.
So, what exactly did Johnny Ringo do to piss you off?
Well, him and that other bastard.
Roscoe Bob Bryant?
Yep. They both deserve to die, and I promise I'll tell you why. But first I need to tell you about the cowboys' new boss, Curly Bill Brocious.
Earth coming!
Get ready, boys. Curly Bill took charge of the cowboys upon the old man's demise. And after that gunfight at the OK Corral, the Clantons wanted revenge. So they murdered Morgan Earp and grievously wounded his older brother, Virgil.
Is that one of Wyatt's boys?
Wyatt and Doc went on what became known as the Vendetta Ride, hunting those outlaws down. So when I showed up, that's who they thought I was.
Он уже. Вот. Да, может чувствительность поменять этот.
There were killers around every corner, all wearing red bandanas. That's how the cowboys identified each other. I was beginning to wish I had one myself.
Я наоборот на поле накинулся, понял. Здесь просто сам по себе стал, самое простое. Нихрена не получилось.
But I wasn't about to let Ringo walk away unscathed. And that's what drove me forward.
They say that Ringo was infernally fast.
I hardly saw anyone faster, boy. Certainly not Wyatt Earp. That man was all hat and no cap.
Earp wasn't much of a match for him, but Doc Holliday might have taken him.
That lunger should have kept his nose out of it. They never charged anyone for the murder of Morgan Earp.
Time to die! But everybody knew that Curly shot him in the back. That was common knowledge.
Yeah, maybe so. But Ringo had nothing to do with it. He was just being loyal to a friend.
Is that what you call it? Being loyal? Well, to get to that loyal friend, I had to pass by some buzzsaws as big as a man.
Нет, да, всем понятно. Все-таки, да, валировался. Ой. А чё? А кого? Понял.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's that, Dwight?
After old man Clanton died, why didn't his son take over the Cowboys?
Because Ike Clanton was dumber than a box of rocks and a yellow belly to boot. Now, where was I?
Taking down the entire cowboy gang single-handed.
Indeed I was, Jack. Though it wasn't easy, as those boys had good cover.
Прокартом?
There were carts everywhere, piles of lumber, and God knows what else for people to hide behind. That really was one hell of a song. Quite an impressive operation.
And where was Curly Bill? Did you see him?
I'm about to get to that, Ben. Patience. I'm painting a picture here. There was this beautiful waterfall and a crystal clear stream that led to a verdant valley that was truly...
Consider your picture painted. What happened next?
Well, finally the bastards that were still alive made a last stand. Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, and his compadres took off into the lumber yard, and I followed after.
Хлопнет. Зарядит и хлопнет. Кучерявый Билл. Курчавый. Курчавый.
Are you saying they ran? Cowardice was not in Ringo nor Curly Bill's nature.
No, sir. I never said they were running scared. They just wanted me on the open.
Time to dance with the devil!
Да.
You working that sumbitch? Send you to kill me? That sumbitch? Send you to kill me?
Сюда.
Come on! Kill that annoying son of a bitch!
Поделать.
This ain't my day to die! Goddamn, he's hard to hit! Make him pay for that!
Что, пацан, нос их призываешь?
You can't hide forever, boy!
Тихо, 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 тихо.
Hope you made your peace, brother. Somebody kill him!
Где там, где? Где? Выходи.
Come out, wherever you are!
Я что делаю? Надо бесконечно. Файда, который мы служили. Да.
Brocious gave me no choice but to take his life. But Ringo was nowhere to be found.
I knew you didn't kill Ringo, because he was found dead in a different location altogether.
To this day, his killer is still unknown.
Indeed. Took me a few months before I finally tracked his ass to West Turkey Creek Canyon.
Следующий, кто станет у руля и схватит пулю, Джонни Ринго.
That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Обычно.
That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Да, что? Что? Я хочу честно его
That's
застрелить.
incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Короче, я чисто слоупок, походу. Ну, типа я не понимаю. Он может заранее выхватывать пистолет.
That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Я тоже не помню. Это кринж. Чем так
It's
сложно?
incredible, sir.
Не понимаю.
I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Yeah, boy.
Sorry I had to ruin the legend for you, boy. But the legend ain't always true.
Не получилось.
Doc Holliday had nothing to do with the death of Johnny Ringo.
Ноль просто ничего. Точно. Ну, хотя бы выше 50 это уже нормально.
I was paid a healthy bounty for Ringo and Curly Bill, and realized there was real money to be made. That's why I went after Henry Plummer.
Now, wasn't he the sheriff who augmented his income by shaking down miners and robbing gold shipments?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. He ran that gang of thieving outlaws called the Innocents.
So it's true that you went toe-to-toe with him?
Indeed I did, son. Indeed I did.
Великолепный одиночка.
I knew I needed resources if I was going to track down Roscoe Bob Bryant. And hunting Plummer looked like a good way to get rich quick. As the local vigilantes exposed him as the leader of the bandits and put a generous price on his head. Plummer rallied his gang to plunder one last gold mine before making their escape, and that's where I thought I'd find him.
Так, надо качать ветку. Оп, легендарную пушку открыл. Неплохо.
It makes me nervous standing so close to all these goddamn barrels of gunpowder.
Why would you be nervous? No one has the cojones to come after us. As long as you don't light up a cigar, we're fine.
Besides, George is up there on the rocks with that rifle of his. Nothing gets past him.
As my late father pointed out to me more than once, God made men, but Samuel Colt made them equal. I knew that dynamite wasn't mine, so I decided the polite thing would be to return it. It was the biggest gold rush since Sutter's Mill in '48. Unfortunately, prospectors weren't the only ones drawn to those riches. There were thieves and killers, robbing travelers and hijacking gold shipments. Like those that ran with Plummer. Some were just regular folks I knew from town, drawn by greed and easy pickings. Charlie Crow, the blacksmith. James, who worked in the stable. Sam and Jeremiah Barber, the butcher's sons. Ordinary citizens who lived a double life. Of course, the rest were veterans of the Civil War. Stone-cold killers trained on the bloody fields of Shiloh and Antietam. Plummer had a lot of men on his payroll. A hell of a lot. That son of a bitch pretended to protect the public with one hand while stealing them blind with the other. He set up a defensive perimeter which I had no idea how to breach. Dangerous, desperate individual. I was outnumbered and in way over my head, but I was too damn stubborn and stupid to realize it. He must have thought I was touched. Or had some kind of death wish.
Show yourself!
I thought I was some kind of hero.
Не понял. А чё? А кто?
Seeing as there were barrels of gunpowder everywhere. One stray bullet, one stray spark, and I'd be blown to hell and gone. Did I have any second thoughts about what I was doing? No. I finally made it past and headed on to meet my destiny. But first, I had something I needed to figure out. I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense. It was the quickest way in, but that also made it more dangerous, as there would undoubtedly be enemy pickets posted along the way.
Time to blow your
Besides, once you enter a mine like that, it's easy to get all turned around. And that confusing maze of corridors wouldn't even be the worst of it. Some of those shafts could be as deep as hell. A single stumble or misstep can easily end in a deadly plunge to oblivion. Quick reflexes often make up for a lack of common sense. Luckily, I was never one to be easily bushwhacked. I would just need to be careful not to blow myself to kingdom come. With all that gunpowder and dynamite everywhere, a body has to know what he's shooting at. All it takes is one tiny spark, and boom.
Понял. Это было глупым решением.
There he is! You ain't beefing me.
As a boy, I always loved the 4th of July.
Чё?
Take that asshole out! You hear me?
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad-blasted tube. I freely admit that my plan of attack was not just moronic, but clearly insane. It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it.
Понял.
Instead, I spotted a ladder, a way into the mine from the opposite side.
Понял.
It was a long way around, but that approach seemed more sensible at the time. Of course, being I had a problem with heights, that scaffolding scared the bejesus out of me. Climbing down that ladder required some caution, because even though I had a younger man's reflexes, no man can dodge a damn bullet while climbing down a rickety ladder. I needed to make a leap of faith, which ain't easy when you're suspended between heaven and hell. I was determined not to give up, however. As Sheriff Plummer seemed quite the despicable character. When the vigilantes discovered what the sheriff was up to, People were outraged. That 10,000 they put on his head would go a long way to helping me find old Bob. And I had made it my mission to settle that score come hell or high water. But first, I would have to make a choice. Take the elevator or climb the ladder.
Уже там нычка свистела.
You know this guy? Time to blow your shit up. Come on out, you yellow bastard. I do not deserve to die like this.
Ну, если что там уже достаточно.
Plummer was a mad dog killer, and the people of Nevada City deserved better.
Nevada City? Well, I thought Plummer met his maker in Bannock, Montana.
Просто Genius.
Right, well, he was the sheriff of both places at one time or another, but that's neither here nor there. The point was, taking him down would save a lot of lives, including my own.
Забрали босс фойт. Законник, бандит, отступник, Генри, Пламер. Арма, как сигары, чисто динамит поджег.
Well, this day is just getting worse and worse.
Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away that this was going to take some doing.
This guy is smarter than he looks. I got a lot of dynamite that you need some help here. Come on, boys, take this cocksucker out.
Yo.
Can't believe you did this.
Убежал. Какой навык нам поможет? Скорость прицеливания. Нет, ты не Андрей. Нету нам. Чё они такие точные, я не понимаю вообще.
So that's how Henry Plummer died. Him and his crew were worth their weight in gold. And now, I was officially a bounty hunter.
Но зато мы точность неплоха. Получше, чем до этого.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself. Hell, he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even Wild Bill Hickok himself.
Быстрый или мертвый?
I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different.
Ой. Такое не ожидал сразу сходу.
I was there with the intention of finding that bastard Bob and collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
thought the Texas Rangers got Harden.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. It was colder than a witch's tit in a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres to the very same saloon we're sitting in today. Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Harden was waiting for me, and... Wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Harden was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here.
Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Harden wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Harden's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the bull's head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcomed presence.
Интересно. Блин. Хотя можно так же пойти и сюда это вкачать, так. Типа устраивать от бедра, ну, прикольно на босфоре. Вот он. Ладно, кто работает? Ага. А? Понял. Кто-то пошел.
Let the boys know we got another law dog.
I wondered if Bob was among them.
Наверное, там что-то блестело. Очка.
And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better. Before I could test my mettle against Harden, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story. I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Shoot him! Shoot him!
выстрел рискну стрелять. Поймал.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon. Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
Can't get a good shot at it. God damn it. You better hide. Watch where you're shooting. Shoot him! Shoot him! Hide, you lily-livered son of a bitch!
Непонятно.
There he is!
Yeah, you know you can't beat me.
Shot at it!
In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
Get out of here! Hold still!
Сразу же уже работает.
You think you can kill me?
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
Первый раз убил в 15. Убил человека за храп. Еще 40 просто за то, что дышали. Джон Уизли Хардин.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him.
Тут еще даже не пытается к пистолету подвинуться, что? Даже руками не шевелить. Я сейчас не...
No, wait! He didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
Это поворот. Жестко. Фигня замкнула. Матрица. почему? Короче, я понял, если наклоняться. Вау.
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Beer? Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
Танцы с ступниками.
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven. Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him. They saw me before I saw them. And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting has started, there was no backing down.
Чё, индейцы с оружием, с луками летели?
It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas. That's why they had retreated there.
No. Level up. Так, ну я не знаю, если разделять людей на вид. Тем будто сюда пошел, поможем, может, вернуться к разделению динамита.
I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I've got a lot of those.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout. Deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
Ну, типа, сегодня в каком-то слово не рассказываем историю, что опа. Вниз, не думаю, что он будет. Нет, тут опять.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the walls.
How big was his cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Да.
How come you know so much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to 2 Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows, and I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind.
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
He said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk. I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
Да, появился. Вау.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
Его не выйду.
I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me. Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Берем ту.
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before.
Так, а что мне золотая винтовка дает? Минус отдача, скорость пацаней, 2 к магазину. Найс. Надо перезарядку понять. Может, здесь еще что-нибудь полезное. Поставь перезарядку дробовика.
I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air. Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty. Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of the right?
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Меня зовут Охотником за головами. 6-й эпизод.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street.
Kill that.
Так. Самородка не набирает. Эти штуки, которые я находил, читать я это не буду. чем играть, ну, чисто для ачивки и все. Навыки уже смотрел. Стрелки, проверенный рейнджер и радарский костюмер лучника. Так, надо качать будет вот этот навык. Потом качать и сюда в револьвер пойти. Интересно. Или еще этот эпизод пройти. Ладно, пройду еще этот эпизод, наверное. Это уже нужно будет продать. Пройду еще эпизод.
The story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up.
Right. It's always the woman's fault.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. Their first mistake was pulling a job in their own damn hometown. The boys grew up in Coffeyville, so everybody knew him.
Hey, you got us a hero. Put some holes in him!
Так, правда. Перепуск.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. This man had no intention of letting the Daltons slip away. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta figure something, bitches.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. So he went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting. from above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Jim Booth and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Is that Silas Green? Son of a bitch!
Тоже не скачано открыть. Я в какой-то моменте такие револьверы особенно.
Over there! That's Silas Greaves! What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Сзади начнем.
His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Сейчас опять заново. Вся фигня новая по новой.
It was early evening, not high noon. Daltons blew up a safe, and we're all set to hightail it out of there. I was late to the party, and Coffeyville was already up in arms. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Лидер, любовник, лох, братья Дальтоны. Чисто нормально.
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville.
Не понял, что. Вот что. Как? Что за фигня?
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens. The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Memo.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
You ain't getting by me, Greaves. It's hog killing time.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
О, сердечки. Прикольно. Я все еще охотник за головами.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this!
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
We're tracking.
Так, ну ладно, все, теперь точно можно заканчивать пока что. Завтра как получится и как по настроению будет, либо вампиры, наверное, продолжим, либо эту игру продолжим проходить. Так, тут скроллить же можно будет. История. Да, продолжить можно будет. Мало, там. Ладно, на сегодня стрим заканчиваю.